Thank you so much for joining us every week as we continue to really take a deep dive into emotions, into healthy relationships, transitioning during this time. It's just so many challenges and a lot of uncertainty for so many. And we want to be sensitive to that. Guys, it is August and we have our facilitator, Miss Erica Bishop. And guys, you know that Erica has been doing emotional intelligence for us for most of the year. She's going to take a shift this month and really try to meet several of our members where they are. And we just ask that you come on time every Monday. We are trying to, Erica and I were just speaking briefly about making sure, guys, that we maximize our time together. These are free trainings. We're going to, uh, reel it back in a little bit to our 20 minutes. But guess what, guys? Erica Bishop, Cassandra Brown, myself, and all of our contributors. We have platforms, we have services, we have books and tools for people who are not able to quite invest in some of the consulting or courses right now. So, the best thing that you can do is take advantage of Monday Night Meetup and take notes, use it as a refresher. But take that next step. DM the contributors, DM the facilitators, and get that private support that you may need. So, Erica, thank you for pushing through, even though you have some obligations with your company and your job right at 9 tonight. So, guys, we are going to go back to our original format and we are going to have this wrapped up at 8:55 at the latest, if not sooner. Thank you, Erica, and thank you for the heads up.
Thank you so much, and good evening to everyone. Indeed, it is always a pleasure to be with you all here on the When Women Heal platform. We are taking a little bit of a shift tonight as we're going to be talking about effective outreach and growth for your business and your church. And I thought it was a great segue considering how so many people have had to pivot during this pandemic and some of the different things that many of us have had to do to grow and stretch ourselves in a completely different way. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, I won't be able to share my screen. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of go through this just very quickly because it's only a 20-minute teaching, but I wanted to make sure that I was sharing some information with you that may be something that you have already thought about or something that you could go ahead and put on your radar to begin to think about these things as you continue to grow and maximize the current position that we're in and how you position yourselves appropriately as you're looking to scale your business or scale your ministry. Now, for many of us, we're having to scale our ministry very differently now because everything has gone virtual. So with that being said, how do we do that in a way that makes it feasible for what it is that we need to do? And I'm going to share this very quickly. As we're talking about effective outreach and growth for your business and for your church. So when we look at this, there are a couple of things that I definitely want to start with as emotional intelligence is a lifestyle. When you begin to live a true life of emotional intelligence, it is a part of all the decisions that you make on a regular basis. So when you're thinking about the planning that you do, how do I show up and do that in the right way and to make sure that I am effectively communicating what is necessary? So now that we're in a place where we have had to position ourselves differently and pivot in a different manner, we first have to do what? Get out of our own way. Because we're doing things differently, we have to come out of this box that we have been in for so long, crawl out of the box, jump out of the box, pop out of the box, break the box all the way down, and look at how can I do this differently in order to continue to scale my ministry and scale my business in a different way. So the first thing is get over your own hurts, hangups, and past history of things that didn't work. Because this may be the very time that it's going to work because it wasn't the right time. So when you think about some of the things that you tried before that may not have worked for you in the marketplace, that may not have worked for you in the ministry, now may be the time for it. So you learn from those past mistakes that you may have made. And when you put those things back into play, considering where you are now and where you're trying to go, put all those things into action. And also humility is key. And what do I mean by that? Some people have been doing great at this. There are some people who have doubled their income, have doubled the size of their ministries, have grown and birthed new things. Ask for help. This is a perfect time to collaborate with individuals, ministries, businesses, coaches that you have never may even considered or have thought about locking arms with. Now it is a great time to collaborate and learn something new, learn something. There have been some people have been doing their whole business virtually and they have mastered it. They've never been in a brick and mortar. So they've mastered understanding what is it to be doing business virtually. How do I master it? How do I build it? How do I scale it? Who do I bring on my team? And that's when we want to talk about the third part is right people, right place, right time. As you look at the talent that you have, as you look at the people that are on your team, you may have to take a different shift now that you have to do business in a different way. And those people are going to, one, you're going to leverage a new skill set that you may not know that's already there. And two, you may have to reposition some people, and where there have been some key players in the forefront, they may have to take a different position now because you have some people that have normally been in the background. Now it's their time to shine because this is their lane. This is their gifting. This is where their anointing is. So when you think about that, right place, right people, right time. And sometimes it takes going back to the drawing board and looking to see where do I need to move some people around? And we're going to talk about that a little bit more. So
Erica,
we want to.
can I jump in?
Mm-hmm.
Erica, with that point, I think that's a great point. Do you typically suggest now for the church? How would this work for the church? Like, I haven't been like on the background at church. How would this work? Is it the same that we do like at a business meeting where we're taking and, with a business though, with our contractors and employees, people can submit their whole resume to us and we can see what some of those interests are. How would this work for other organizations?
It's going to be the same. And I say that because we have to also remember church is also a business. People don't think of it. It is a nonprofit organization or it is a faith-based business. So there are certain parts of ministry that you have to operate as a business. So sometimes you do have to go back to the drawing board, and churches should have resumes. They should have job descriptions. They should have your handbooks. Those things are very vital to ministry, especially when you think about mega ministry or a ministry that's growing. Those things should already be in place and structured, because if you're believing that your ministry is going to grow, those things are very important because you're going to have full-time employees. You may even have interns, depending upon what type of project you may be doing, what type of outreach you may be doing. Those things are very vital even to ministry.
Erica, I'm sorry, you asked me a question.
No, I didn't know if you had anything you wanted to add to that before
No,
I
I
move
just
forward.
thought that was a good point. I don't know the business side of church, like what happens when roles are shifting and all. I just noticed that with everything going digital, I can't imagine like how it shifts. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You go from somebody that is physically there and assisting in certain ministries and the congregation and the order of things versus if it's all virtual, you really have to pull on a lot of technical skills, people with the
Mm-hmm.
virtual world. And I would even think some of the younger congregation with this social media reach. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's part of the conversation. I'm just assuming that it would be.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm gonna fix this typo I got right here. Okay. So yeah, and it starts there. You have to consider all those things. And I think some of the mistakes, because I've been in various sizes of ministry. When we're small, we think that it may not be necessary, but if it's already in place when you grow, because sometimes we don't know how quickly growth can come. And it's the same thing in your regular business. Let's take what was her name? Superset, the young lady that did the makeup line, and
Yep.
she became a millionaire in less than what, an hour was it? She literally broke the internet. So she had to restructure, if she didn't already have it in place, had
Uh-huh.
to restructure her business to meet the demand.
Yeah.
So we have to, in our not despising small beginnings, it doesn't mean that you don't plan for more.
That's good. Yep. That's true.
We have to plan for more. And I know one thing for me, my business is young, it's not very large, but one thing I can honestly say, 3 times the Lord has told me, prepare. He said, prepare for more, and prepare for plenty.
Yep. You
So
said
this,
that. You been,
yeah,
yep.
and this is where I am literally for the month of August. It's all about preparation because I know something is about to shift in September. Don't know
Yeah.
what it is, but I would rather be prepared than not be prepared.
Exactly. And Leslie said, I don't know if Leslie Briscoe Andrews is on, but I would ask her to forward you this reading that she sent me where Maria Shriver's entire team every August they take a 30-day unplug from social media. And see, Erica, I'll do that whenever I need to. But honestly, especially with where you and Dr. K are, people who've done the work and gotten certain aspects done, I think it's awesome. Most people can't pull back for 30 days, you know, but it's powerful when we can.
Right. So I've scaled a lot of things back for the month of August, but this is my commitment that I had already, had in place. And I had some other people to take some other things for me because that's exactly what I've had to do, is to
Yep.
pull back specifically for this month so that I could finish and complete and make sure I had all my I's dotted and my T's crossed and no loose ends to get prepared for what's next. And sometimes we go, 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 but we never
Mm-hmm.
complete a specific area. And then we found out that it's needed. And then we feel like we got to go back to the drawing board. So I'm going to go to this point right quick. Then we have to go back to what is our why. Because in our place of growing, we have to make sure we stay close to our why. Now, will your why shift and change? Yes, it will. But you have to make sure you're sticking to your why, because you could find yourself on a different course, different trajectory, and it had nothing to do with your mission, had nothing to do with your vision. And then you have burned possible resources and time for something that wasn't at that particular moment. So, who are you called to? What problem are you called to serve or to solve? What is your mission and what is your growth strategy? So we think about these things, and if you're not sure what your growth strategy is and not clear on your mission, this is where that place of collaborating with others who understand how to help you get to that place is so vital and so important. And we have to remember there are times we have to reinvest in our ministry and in our businesses to make sure that we're in those places where we need to be.
That's what I was going to add, Erica. Even when I pull back, I will do the things that I've committed to. Like I had to show up, I'll do my Facebook Live and the When Women Heal. And when I come in, try to support whoever's in there who posted. But I've had to ask for help too. I've had to say, hey, just delegate other members. Hey, do you mind doing the raffle for the winners, every week? Do you mind doing this? Just small things. But it allows you to pull back and things still get done. So
Right.
whoever's watching this is not by coincidence. It's real because it's a lot of more opportunities headed our way.
It really is. And I don't want to get off into this, but I was listening to a gentleman today, and he was talking about basically the Joseph project. And this is a whole nother conversation that we could talk about. But if you go back to the story of Joseph in the Bible, it is so much meat in how to operate a business and how to prepare yourself for your plentiful years and how to prepare for what to do in your plentiful years and how to prepare for your lean years. But we won't get into that tonight. We'll do that another night. But it's so much great information in that. But I do want to share this quote. Everyone wants to live on top of the mountain, but all the happiness and growth occurs while you are climbing. So I wanted to make this point. As we are growing, pivoting, and changing, we have to be completely present in the moment of the things that we're learning and experiencing because it's so vital for so many different parts of your business. We don't want to just fly through anything. Make sure that you document everything that you can because it can be a linchpin to something else that's very important in your next season. Now, effective communication, effective marketing is what I want to talk about. Building a strong team, creating the marketing plan, and the wow factor. So these are 3 parts of effective marketing when we're talking about pivoting your business and what you need to do with that or scaling your ministry. So one of the things that another quote I want to give, all ministry must be God-centered, but it also supposed to be man-purpose. And growth is never by mere chance. It is a result of forces working together. So when we think about ministry, and me, and like you, I'm a spirit-led entrepreneur. So my business is also my ministry. And I have to also think that everything I do, is it a good thing or is it a God thing? So I can't just chase after everything is good because everybody else is doing it. Everybody's business and ministry has a certain rhythm and has a certain flow. You may seem like you may be going against the grain of everybody else, but that's okay if that's what you're called to do. We're not necessarily called to serve in ministry everybody and serve in the marketplace everybody. Our businesses are called to solve problems for something specific that has been given to us so that we're unique in the marketplace. And we have to remember that we're here to serve others in the marketplace and also in ministry. And that's why you can also see so many great ministries are even strong in the marketplace and vice versa. So we also want to remember those things too. So we also talking about building a strong team. So with your strong team, you can have interns, paid employees, who's going to take care of your social media, public relations, and then your graphics and your logos. So this is just a small part when you talk about marketing, but your content. Now that and then your who's going to be your audiovisual team, who's going to be your photographers. So there are so many people who work behind the scenes. Now they take a more of a larger vital role in so many things that happen in how you're presenting your business and how you're building your team, who's going to keep up with the content, what does the production look like, how do you schedule that production. So when we think about building a strong team, who even takes care of the documentation of the things that are happening. So where you would normally in a ministry have people to greet you, take your name, get your information, to follow up with you. We used to have care teams we used to do a lot with. You may have had in your ministry. How do you do that differently now? Are you using Zoom a lot more? Who's going to teach everybody how to use Zoom? Did you have an elderly population in your ministry? And then even in your business, if you have some people that may not be as tech savvy, here it is where the people who know that side may have to take the forefront to lead and to teach others how to do that. Tiara, did you have anything? Yes, ma'am.
I haven't been on the business side of church. Are there just as many paid roles in church as the volunteer, or are all the ministries mostly volunteer based?
It depends on the size of the ministry. Usually your larger ministries do have paid ministers because they're on staff. And some do get honorariums, and then you have some that don't, just depend upon the size of the ministry and the structure of the ministry. So you can have quite a few paid employees in ministry, especially if they're over organizations, they're over different parts of a ministry. You know, you could have someone that may be over the youth, but the youth is divided into many different parts. So you may have a youth pastor or maybe even a whole youth church. And with that, you have to have an administrative team. You have to have volunteers with that, because when you're talking about youth, that may be from grade school all the way up to high school. And in that, you as a whole church, depending upon the size of the ministry, that could be a whole church by itself just for the youth. So that has a different structure. Then you may have a very large single population. You may have a large married population. It just depends upon the complete structure of your ministry. And if you are a ministry that has 20, 30,000 members, you may have about 10, 15 ministers that may be on your staff, if not more.
And this is a side note, because I know we're getting close. It's 8:52. A lot of people have reached out to us that are trying to do online businesses, get their services online. And we have to be very specific about the type of projects we take on right now. Is your company taking on more a la carte projects if people just want one landing page and they don't want publishing or coaching?
Yes. So, yeah, I am doing that as well, because some people just need a start, or I need to ask a question and how to get this part done. So yes, we're doing that as well.
Okay.
So this is another quote. Companies that grow for the sake of growth or that expand into areas outside of their core business strategy often stumble. On the other hand, companies that build for scale for the benefit of their customers and shareholders often succeed over time. So this particular one is, you've got to know when it's time for you to stretch. It's not necessary that you stretch to keep up with other people. Is it time for you to expand? And I have seen this in business and in ministry. There's a saying that some people try to be big when little got you. So sometimes it's not time for you to be big. You need to stay in that place where you are forced to grow. And then there's sometimes where God has given you the green light to tell you, okay, go ahead and put this in place. But we have to make sure that we don't get caught up in that comparison thing when it comes to business and ministry, and you putting yourself in a place and you have maximized where you already are, because all those things that you can gather, grow in, and stabilize yourself in while you are yet small, it makes you a lot stronger and your foundation a lot stronger, so that when you do expand, your structure is so solid. You don't have to go back and try to fix, revamp, or try to prop up something that may be leaning because the foundation wasn't what it needed to be. The other part of effective marketing is creating, when we talk about creating your marketing plan, what calendars are you using? Are you calendarizing anything? Trello, I think this was called Asana and ClickUp are three things that I have found. I've used Trello before and really love it, enjoy it.
We do too, Erica. You harped on that for almost a year. And I told Rachel, I said, Erica kept telling me about Trello. But when I tell you, I love those reminders that I mean, you can get a reminder for every status on every project to your email without even logging in. And I mean, the way you can just view all those little cards on the screen, the dashboard, it's awesome. I mean, and you're right.
Trello.
At the free level, even one level up or the free, it's so much you can do. I see why you were such a fan of it, and I thank you for that.
Yeah, I love it. It's great. I mean, even from business, even personal, you know, when you have different projects going on, and you have different phases, or even for your family, if you need a board for each one of your children, it's absolutely amazing. I love Trello. From a budgeting standpoint, QuickBooks, FreshBooks are two great ones that help a lot. And then when you think about other tools, when you think about customer service, and the growth of not only your business, but also your ministry, how do you send out your mass emails? What does that look like? How do you send out communication to the people that you need? Some things do need to be automated. When it gets to a certain size, you need to automate as much as you can. So I personally use Kartra, and I've also used Entreport with You, which I love both of them. They're good platforms, and from a Square, PayPal, Givelify is one that you can use for donations. PayPal has expanded so much because it does invoices, and then Square, you can actually do your payroll through Square. So there are a lot of different options that you have for the tools and things that you can use within your ministry. And we're going to go ahead.
Does Givelify charge, Erica?
It does.
Is it a big percentage?
I think it's standard like everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's standard like everybody else.
But you can text somebody a code and they can give you right from their phone, right?
Yeah. So and because you also have another one called PushPay that you can use as well. And one thing about Givelify, I'm not sure how PushPay works, but I know with Givelify, it allows you to, whatever area you in, if you want to donate to a particular area, all those people that are on it within that space, you can actually donate to that. I thought it was pretty cool. But Cash App my concern with Cash App is that it gets hacked a lot. So we had to be very, very careful with that and make sure we secure everything we can. To me, PayPal is the most secure way to do it, but I know that Givelify does very well. Plus, it gives you an itemized statement that you can look at it directly off of your phone as well. This is from John MacArthur. Excellent ministers cannot be those who yearn for earthly applause, neither can they be lovers of earthly comfort. The life of ministry is not a life of leisure. The notion that ministry can be both effective and painless is a lie. And that even goes for business as well. There are going to be some hard times. There are going to be some times that it's painful, but it's so rewarding in the end. And that's that resilience and adaptability that we gain as we continue to grow from one space to the next, as we say, from faith to faith and from glory to glory, as you're expanding and you're growing and you're climbing up the mountain to success. It's going to be some hard times, but those hard times that we do have is what gives us that resiliency in those places of ambiguity, where it doesn't seem to be clear, but I know what my why is. And we stick to that why, and that's what helps us push through. To be successful, you have to have your heart in your business and your business in your heart. Same thing for ministry. To be successful, you have to have your heart in the ministry and your ministry in the heart, in your heart. that is the sole purpose of what it is that you're doing. The wow factor, and we're going to close it right here. We talked about customer service and customer relations. Make sure you have the right people who are going to be your face, if either your company or your ministry. Many of us has probably had those experiences. We laugh about it, but sometimes some of the ushers or greeters can be some of the meanest people. They might not be the people you want to have at the front door when you're greeting people. If you have someone that's the face of your business, make sure that person may need to be the extroverted person. The introverted person may be better behind the scenes because that's not what they feel comfortable doing. So you think about people's personality types and who they are, and are they the right person in this right position? Brand identity is huge. When we're talking about business and ministry, what is your brand? What do you stand for? When people see your logo, when people see your colors, do they know that I know who that is? I know what they stand for because this is what they do. That's the uniqueness of who you are. So your brand identity is huge in business, but it's just as important in ministry. And I'm going to have to move on, y'all, because my time is up. But there's also should be a call to action and also the growth principle. And we can catch this up next week. I hate to run, but my time is up. I love you all. But I gotta go.
Yeah, guys, let's do a Erica, you can go ahead and log off. I'm going to continue, and then we can do a better transition next week.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Guys, so when you think about running your business, whether you are in startup mode or whether you are in growth mode, what Erica has touched on tonight is having effective marketing, having the right people in the right places, and also shifting the roles with people who are already there to support you is very critical. So whether you're at the beginning, whether you are growing, right now we are encouraging you, do an assessment. Just look at your vision. Look at where you want to go. Look at the team players that you have, and then make a decision if you need to pivot, if you need to shift. We have done that so much already this year, and thankfully we have contributors who have stepped up, who are adding fresh content. There's no way that Tanisha and I could do this alone. There's no way we could rely on just the facilitators on Monday night to carry the vision of When Women Heal. So use this as an example. We want to encourage you to not feel stuck, not feel that you cannot birth your vision, but be very intentional about taking the time you need to pause, to assess, and trust. Trust that those transitions and those pivots and shifts are going to help you continue to drive forward. Guys, meet us every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Monday Night Meetup. We're asking the facilitators to do 20 minutes of training, a few minutes of Q&A. Dr. K has completely spoiled us, going over and over, sometimes at 10:30 at night. We don't want to do that. We want to really encourage work-life balance, guys. We're all growing. We're all building momentum. We're shifting, and we want you to do the same. Tanisha, do we have any questions out there before we close?
No, there's no questions right now. A lot of people are saying, however, how valuable this information was to them in this time and in this season. So
Maybe we need to do more business trainings, and I'll do that too, guys. I will be, Tanisha, you really encouraged me to include more of that entrepreneur training. I will do that, guys, on my Monday noon sessions also. And on Monday Night Meetup, continue to let us know what information that's going to help you in this season. We want to really give you the content that's going to help you. With Erica publishing her books, Emotional Intelligence, Dr. K having overcoming moving beyond betrayal, Tanisha having stand true to your assignment, me, the power of peace and a pause, so many other authors. There are tools that have really helped us on the healing and personal development. And now when we think about empire building, right? Platform building. We can all continue iron sharpen iron. And so I will do a specific training on that next Monday, T. I know you have mentioned that to me before. I will be sure to do that. And I want to encourage everybody to join us next Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here in the When Women Heal Facebook group. Thank you, T.
Yes, ma'am. I just want to say before we go, also to let everybody know that all the trainings are on YouTube. So this one will be up by tomorrow evening. So whatever you couldn't catch, it's going to be there.
Thank you so much, T. And we'll update our resource page as well so they can just link right over to our YouTube page, because you have worked so hard with pulling everything and making sure that it's there. But as we update the site, that'll be an easy way where we can post our resource center link for everyone, T. And thank you for taking the building blocks with us behind the scenes and really getting ready for an exciting fall. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about the graphics. We're doing the editing now, and we are ready to rock and roll. So, Tanisha, you've done an amazing job. All the contributors and as well as the facilitators. I'm so grateful for where we are in this season. And it's taken a lot of effort. It's taken a lot of baby steps. And Tanisha, you've seen it behind the scenes. So I just want to say that to encourage anybody else that feels like they are trying to climb a tall mountain, do not give up. Erica did an amazing job tonight. She'll be back next Monday at 8:30 p.m. And then we'll have Dr. K next month. So thank you so much, T. And you
All right.
guys have a great night.
Good night.
Bye.